start coloring on the background and stuff. I got here and I got left off, so I was like, well, I'm going to come back in here and finish this at least. So we're going to start this and continue going into the background, working on the water and such in the background there. Pull that out. Go in and put this in there and get this going so that way we can finish this up and get Marco out. Like I said earlier, I kind of imagine a situation where like somebody's picking on his sister and there's like a waterfall nearby and they're like, there's no way anybody can get to you. And then her big brother her big brother shows up. It's kind of like, oh, I can get to you. And so he ends up getting there. I'm back. Thank you, Jingles Rascals. Appreciate it. So, anyway, I wanted to make sure to get this finished up there. So that way we kind of flesh this out. I have something else to add as well once I get this done. So I'll do that once I get this in there. I just wanted to get some more water kind of behind it. I kind of imagine him being a little bit of an elemental where he can kind of, if he gets really upset, he can kind of control water. Hello, Otbot, how are you? He kind of just, he doesn't necessarily know how to control the abilities. Thank you, Otbot, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that too, so that way she can see it as we're going. Like I said, it's one thing to be the guy drawing the stuff based off of what somebody else did. It's another thing when you got them available to see it. But anyway, so just kind of trying to find ways to get him in situations where, and I don't know that, she would want to do in her stories. I don't know if she wants to do like whole, like single issue drive stories where like one character is kind of the main focus involved. But I think it'd be cool to go in and kind of have it where, is she doing a live feed too? I did not realize she was doing a live feed. I need to make sure to jump in her live feed when I get this done. I didn't want to interrupt feeds. It's one thing I was trying to keep from doing. So she's doing a live stream. I didn't even realize she was doing one. I will definitely jump in it here. Unless she's in like Discord or something, and then that's a little bit different. Because I don't have the Discord thing yet. Is that something I need to invest in? Is that something I need to do? If I need to do that, I'll definitely look into it. I just hadn't really investigated Discord a whole lot to know what it was about. Although I hear about it. Yeah, no, you said her server. I thought you were saying that she was live. I was like, oh, wait, is she live too? I didn't see a thing go live. That's what's confusing me a little bit. So maybe I just read it wrong. So pick up some more water in this. That way I can go and do some awesome little water effect there. Show some shimmer and shine in the midst of it. Yeah, that's a little bit different. I heard it. I read it wrong when I read it. Her page. Jingles, tell me a little bit about Discord while I'm on here. Is that something I need to invest in? Like, do I need to actually get a Discord and start working with it? Like I said, I don't know much about it. I haven't really researched it. I was just wondering. I know you guys know a lot more about Discord than I do. More of that water effect, like I said, bring it in. Like I said, kind of go with the idea that he can kind of control the elements a little bit, but he doesn't necessarily know how. Like, he's not going to go in and just, he's not a water bender. Sometimes the water kind of reacts to him more so than he's controlling it. So, like, it's not a situation where he's just going to, if he's in the middle of a fight or something, he's not going to just call down a bunch of water and do crazy stuff. But you can tell whatever he might be a little bit more upset because if water is near him or nearby, he may, water may start to react as his temper flares. Like I said, I don't want it to be like a MacGuffin, like, oh my gosh, here's when, Marco is going to do his thing when there's water all over the place. Nice place for people and friends to get together and chat and play games. I may have to look into that. I really do. I may have to check into it. Like I said, I definitely want to try to broaden the horizons, and see what kind of, grow, but not, more importantly, just broaden my horizons as far as what I'm doing. Find more people to entertain and such with the artworks and such. Really help grow a community. I know as Comic Maker, you and other people are involved in that, really making a good, how do I put it, non-judgy art community. So that's really awesome to see. So I definitely want to help that any way I can. So, we know everybody's skill sets aren't the same, but we all know that we all worked hard to get where we're at. So, we understand that to get where you want to get, you have to work hard to get there. But where you want to get and where I want to get are two different things. So it's not a situation where we're looking at somebody going, oh my gosh, you're not where I am. Ooh. Okay, Skype, but for gaming, I can deal with that. So let me go ahead and finish this. I'm just about done with this, really. Kind of finish this up. We'll go with the rock here on the other side. I can dig it. Like I said, I definitely like the idea of a community of artists working together. Really trying to find ways of growing a community of people. Because I feel like artists, we are either, we're the thought of, oh my gosh, I got this thing I got to do. I'm going to find the artist and help me do it. Or we're kind of looked at as so you're an artist. I don't know how you can make a living doing that. And I'm like, it takes time. It's not something that's going to be an instant thing. But, we work together. We try. We fight hard. And when we fight hard, it's normally going to be more like we fight hard as we work and learn and grow and all this other stuff. A lot of times, especially when you're an artist, one of the key things is understanding, you got a life outside of your art, but if you want to grow in your art, you got to make time for it. So that's kind of where that is. So this is my finished big picture of Marco. I'm going to go ahead and try to flip this real quick so I can work on, because I came up with an idea on the other picture I was working on earlier, so that way we can kind of tie this all together. So that's the plan. So we're going to go back to this picture and then finish it. Because since I talked about the sister and everything, I really want to kind of bring that in. I want to kind of go back in and finish that up. So we'll tighten this up a little bit and go into it. So anyway, I thank you, Jingles. I greatly appreciate that. So anyway, that's the dad. I don't know if we have a name. I know we talked about his candy shop being named Sharky Sweets. If we end up naming him Sharky Sweets, I don't know how that would work. I think maybe that would be more like a gimmick name than a real name. Like maybe his real name is Marvin or something. But whenever he's out promoting the shop, it's, all right, Salty Sweets here. He just has it. He almost puts on a play voice, like a studio voice when he's talking about it. He's just like, yeah, Sharky Sweets. Do you need chocolate? We got your chocolate right here. Do you need gum? Do you need bubble gum? Do you need candy? We got your rockin' candy right here. Do you need Pop Rocks? We got Pop Rocks for you. Anything you need, Sharky Sweets has got it for you. Oh, yeah. Just out of that radio voice thing where he just kind of plays it. And I will have to write Marco's name on here again. So, because drawing dad, I kind of need to get the pants on now. Everything. So we're going to go ahead and do the pants shading. Yeah. this is the plan. We're going to go ahead and finish Dad. And then we'll work on Sister. And I'm thinking for the sister, I'm thinking something simple like Maria. I see Elmar, and I kind of have a very Hispanic Latina vibe going on, which I know Latina and Hispanic are two totally different things. You know, don't judge, don't at me. But I think it's interesting with a name like Elmar. You kind of feel a bit of that more Hispanic vent to it. So I mean, it would be kind of cool if maybe his family was spoke Spanish, which would be even more interesting because you got Spanish speaking sharks. So you've got Marco, you've got Maria, you got Dad, and you got Mom. And maybe just have some fun with it. Mom's name would be Maria too. That way it's kind of like, it kind of changes the old adage of, well, the dad names his son after him. Instead it's like maybe the mom would name her daughter after her. And so maybe they're both actually named Maria. So of course that means I have to figure out a mama shark in this picture. And I don't know that I want to do that right now. I kind of had a part 3 there. So maybe we will... Maybe we'll save Maria for a future one. Then again, I'm doing all this, and of course, like I said earlier, it's just S comic maker's idea, so she may totally just be like, I don't know that I want to do all that, and then it's just like, okay. I don't want to disrespect the maker of the property. Mama, yeah. Well, you're going to have Dad, you're going to have Mom, And a buddy of mine and I were talking the other day. He wrote a book called Jeff Set Jet a couple of years ago. And one of the things he said was interesting was, most superheroes or most heroes in a lot of your comic books and things like that, they all have dead parents. Like, I never understood why they have dead parents. So it's like, maybe what if we had a character who didn't have dead parents? The parents were very much alive and everything. So I think that would be a cool concept. And so that's where he came up with the character he did, where basically that character was very much alive, and the mom and dad were very much alive, and so the kid was trying to save his parents, and that was kind of the goal of the story. He said his dad, I think, was like a firefighter, and his mom was like a policewoman, and so he makes these little inventions to try to basically make his own, like, Iron Man type suit. And, but the suit, of course, is a kid making the suit, so he's not going to have the super technical prowess to keep the suit operational. And so there are times where the suit will malfunction. And so, but even still, he still ends up doing what his goal is, which is to keep his parents safe. But he can't let them know, of course, that he's a superhero risking his life, because then it's kind of like, well, we're out here risking our lives to keep you safe. You can't be out here risking your life to keep us safe. So the parents can't know that this is what he does. So that's kind of the idea that's going forward on that. Broken families are relatable, and that's true. But at the same time, sometimes a story, it's not talking about the relatable. Sometimes it's talking about the ideal. Because there are a lot of people who don't have, a mom and dad who's not there. You have the stepmom or the stepdad type thing. And so, you really want to kind of let that be known that that's an option too. So, all right, guys, give me just a second. I got to do something real quick. I'll be right back. We're just going to keep it right here. I am back. And Jingles, I see where you're talking about, that you have characters that are from single parent homes, but that you as father are working on some other characters. That's really cool, man. It's really cool. And like I said, I don't, I understand what you're saying when you're saying it's relatable because it is. Because statistically, there's a lot more, children who don't have parents at home, both parents at home, than there are the opposite. At the same time, I feel like I said, sometimes the story is not about the reality, it's about the ideal. So I always like to hope for the ideal. So that's kind of my thought process on it. Okay. I want to try something a little bit different with her eyes as opposed to the others. See how well this is. I don't know how well this will work. So, okay, then. Colors come from this side. So we do that. Then we do this. Do the same thing over here. And the funny thing I learned over time, Jingles, because my dad was a military guy. And so for a long time, he wasn't physically around. But then when I got older and my mom remarried, he and my stepdad really was like the best dad I could ever ask for. And my dad and I are great now. It just took time to get there. But growing up, I didn't necessarily understand why he wasn't around a lot. And so, but my stepdad really stepped in. He married my mom like I was 12. And so, I was the oldest child there at the house. And, of course, my sister was a year older than me. And then my brother was 2 years younger. So, it's kind of an interesting situation, but he really stepped in a big way. And so sometimes, step parents can be awesome too. And man, I hope when you have a family, if they've got a great dad right off the bat, in my opinion. I know, everybody's working towards some things. We don't necessarily feel like we're there yet. But one thing I can tell just by our conversation and things like that, you're definitely working on being the best guy you can be. And so, not a perfect guy, but working on being the best guy. So, any kid in their right mind would want that as a parent, So. And it's interesting to think about that. It really is. You look at the situation, and sometimes people will say, well, I don't understand it. It's like I don't either. But at the same time, it's like I get it, because sometimes it's just that simple as a choice, and you wish things were different. But at the same time, you're like, you learn so much being on the other side of that situation that you realize you can survive. And if you can survive it, you can inspire other people to survive. Because there are a lot of people out there that need to know they're in a similar situation. So, okay. Maria, is that Maria? Or am I missing something in the syllables? Just want to make sure when I write it, I spell it right. Having a brain fart moment. Maria. So I go Maria. Okay. What I may have to do for this, because I'm running out of time, I do have other stuff I need to do to get ready for work and stuff tomorrow. I don't want to end this live stream. It's been really great. I know I had to break it up into like 3 different ones just because of my of stuff going on. But overall, it's been a good time. But I may have to do Mama later. I don't know how for sure I'll do that. Like I said, I don't know if I want. I want to do Mom definitely. I don't know if I'll do it here, or I may do Mom later. Yeah, Mama time later. I'll have to do the big family picture. I kind of try to draw Maria where she's a little bit shy, unless she's around her brother. Because she kind of comes out of her shell when she's around her bro. But other than that, she's kind of a shy kid. Whereas, when that's Comic Maker made, was talking about Marco, she talked about the fact that Marco was always kind of lived big. He kind of did things in a big way because he was trying to compensate for being small. But Maria is definitely not the type to want to live big. She's kind of hides behind her brother sometimes. And so, anyway, this kind of my take on the wonderful characters that she created for her Moe girls. And, I'm doing this to her for her character, so if she wants to steal any of this, I totally get it. I totally don't mind, because, like, I know it's her character. I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm just playing in her wheelhouse a little bit. So, it's like I say, no, you can't do it. It's like, well, it's my character. I'm the one that came up with the idea for all that stuff. Tell me I can't do it. Yeah, I wonder if Papa should have a beard. I don't know how that would work. Tighten up some of the hair stuff. Give it a little bit more texture. All right, coming around on the hair, going into the little afro puffs there. All right. And, somebody asked me one day, they said, how do you come up with all these ideas? I said, I don't know. If I could explain it to you, I'd write a book literally about how to come up with ideas. The problem is there's so many in my head, and then when I see stuff, it's like I get ideas about that. So I don't have an answer for how I come up with ideas. I just do ideas, and I throw them out there. And if people want to do something with them, they can. If not, I have a hard enough time trying to write the books I'm writing. I can't write everybody's book. I wish I could. That'd be nice. Like have a collaborative place where you can go in and write several different books and things like that, and then just be like, all right, here's the company. Let's get this thing published, y'all. We got work to do. sell an idea book. Like maybe prompts or something. Like do like writing prompts, but from different vantage points. Like if you're doing like fantasy or something like that, have that kind of prompt book out there. And then if it's like a kid's book, do it that way. I can see that would be interesting. Be kind of fun to come up with different things for different deals. Be fun. Just call it the Idea Factory. I'll put some curls in the hair, make it a little bit more childlike, give it a little bit more texture. Come back over a little bit of the gray so that way you come back with the color. Bring that in. And there we go. We got her little curls in there. Just hit some highlights in there and call it done. Let's see. Maybe do a highlight here. That way. And there we go. We've got Maria. We've got Marco. And then we've got again, I'm trying to think of a name for him. We're just gonna call him Dad for right now. Keep it simple. Just call him Dad. And eventually we'll go in and draw Maria, the mama shark there. And then we'll let S Comic Maker take it all and say, okay, now what? Now I get to do the story that I've always wanted to do. I don't know. She's got several. She's been doing stuff for years. She doesn't need me to do this. I just decided to do it because I needed to draw something different than I've been drawing to kind of wake up my creativity a bit. So, and this was a good thing because when I saw her do it, I was really impressed by it. I really loved the whole concept, but this character kind of jumped out at me. So here we go. This is where we're at. This is what we got done. And I am going to get a little late night snack before I go to bed. So it's been real fun, you guys. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me on these streams. Comment below. I will do the announcement for the comment contest for the Inktober stuff once I get everything counted. So sometime this week, I'll have that information, and I will go ahead and try to get information on who had the most comments on the Inktober videos and go from there. So you guys rock. Appreciate you. And as always, I didn't say it at the end of the other videos because I was like, well, I'm going to wait till I end the whole thing. So Jingle Rascals, you have a good night too. And above all else, guys, be blessed, be a blessing to somebody. Take care.